And that is not the Star Spangled Banner, but I decided to come back in with talk radio. And yeah, not just the big mainline fake conservative talk show hosts, but all the little local hosts and patriot hosts. That's where I first really heard about the New World Order. I mean, I'd grown up reading None Dare Call It Conspiracy, Gary Allen, and knew about the New World Order somewhat. But when I really tuned in and heard Raleigh James, when I was, senior in high school, here in Austin on the radio, and she was talking about all sorts of New World Order activity. Really a great thing, because talk radio has more time to expand ideas, not just little sound bites. And Steve Voss is our guest. Again, we have specials up on Infowars.com. I hope people will get both of his albums, or they can buy them individually. And you can also do a combo and get both of them, and then get my CD with the music of two of my films by Graham Reynolds for absolutely free. And we have a discount where you can get the music of my films by Graham Reynolds at a discount when you get it with one of Steve Voss's albums as well. So that's up on Infowars.com. You can also go to stevevoss.com and get his DVDs. I keep calling them DVDs because I'm a filmmaker, and I'm always thinking about DVDs. CDs! Man, I tell you, sometimes I get something in my head, and I just can't get it out of my head. Going back to Steve Voss. Steve, the country is really in real peril now. I mean, we knew a long time ago that globalism and corruption and government corruption was out of control. Now, the dollar's plunging, GM's being federalized and bankrupt, Chrysler's been sold to the Bilderberg Group, owned Fiat. They're openly announcing world government, openly announcing a Bank of the World will pay our carbon taxes to, openly announcing FEMA camps for our safety. I mean, this is even starting to freak me out, and I've been expecting all this to happen. What about you?
You know, I go back to the basics. It's like we keep drifting farther and farther away from what this country's founders envisioned and intended. And, you know, it's incremental, I suppose you could say, over the last 20 years or so. But now, the slippery slope, my God, you know, we're just zooming down it faster than, you know, we could even comprehend. And I just pray every single night that people wake up and say, wait a minute, this isn't right, this isn't America, and we got to do something about it.
Absolutely. And they love to say it's anti-military, but it's not anti-military when you have 70+% of the donations given by the troops to Ron Paul, not to other candidates. And you have Ron Paul speaking out against all these urban warfare drills, Northcom announcing they're going to police the American people. You know, the troops don't want to do this. And I know the people don't want this. Where do you see this country going if we don't energize a mass awakening and a realization that we're going down the tubes towards tyranny?
Hell in a handbasket. I mean, it's as simple as that. You know, they're floating this idea of adding a value-added tax to pay for health care and, you know, federal control of virtually everything you can imagine. I mean, I think the folks in Texas have the right idea. And I'm going to give serious thought to moving down there, not just coming down there to sing, because they're talking about, you know what, maybe we're going to back out of this thing being part of the United States of America. We are in deep, deep trouble, folks. I mean, I'm not Chicken Little saying the sky is falling. All you got to do is read even the mainstream press, and if you don't realize we're in deep trouble, then you need to get your eyes checked.
Well, you're right. You know, what's happening is we need the states to declare sovereignty and reconstitute the federal government, and we have to secede. But the globalists are in control, as you know, Steve, of the Congress and both major political parties. And people think, oh, I want free health care. That won't be free health care. That will be just like they take a $1 from the states and send 30 cents back on average, 33 cents back on average with strings attached. They are coming in with all these strings attached to control our lives. This is going to be eugenics. This is going to be government control. This is going to be paid for government abortions. And I've got an article here with a judge saying, I'll give you probation if you get sterilized. This is government eugenics health care that I cover in my film Endgame. You don't want the government in control of something like this. They can use it as a tool to control people. They already are.
Yeah, it's absolutely frightening. You know, in my simplistic view, I think we need to go back to the old days of, you know, citizen lawmakers that go and, you know, serve a term for 2 years or 6 years, and then they go home and go back to their farm. You know, we got to get back to basics and common sense here. The only peace I find in all of this, the only thing that gives me comfort is we have a farm out in the hinterlands of Virginia that is a long time before anybody can find it, let alone try and take control of it. And, you know, that's our safety valve. You know, because I'm not real optimistic at this point that even if everybody wakes up tomorrow that we're going to be able to fight the forces that are in charge.
Well, I agree with you. Here's the problem. Earlier, before you were on, I covered the cybersecurity grid. They admit they're thumbprinting biometrically the kids in school without even asking the parents. They got face scanning cameras, license plate reading cameras, North American Union hemispheric travel passes, no-fly list for gun owners, no guns for people on no-fly list. They've got the National Animal Identification System where they bully you into signing your rights away, $1,000 a day fines if you don't report everything to the government, $20 tags for $5 chickens, but then Tyson's exempt from that, bankrupting everything. Bureaucrats arresting Amish for selling cheese and milk to other Amish, arresting Amish for not getting license plates now, arresting people selling eggs and watermelons without a permit on the side of the highway. I mean, Steve, I'm sure you know about this. They are coming after the farms and ranches, and they're doing it in Europe, too, and Australia, and the feds are using surveillance satellites with the new environmental laws in these cities and towns where you can't build on your own property. To go, oh, you built a shed and a SWAT team comes and arrests you. I mean, they are coming after your farm in Virginia.
They'll get there sooner or later. You know, the thing that scares me more than anything, I'm sure you saw the story a couple days ago on WorldNet Daily about the folks that were hosting a Bible study out here in San Diego.
Been happening for years.
Yeah, and, you know, the government comes out and says, well, you need a permit to do this.
Need a permit to gather. You can't have 10 people in your house. That first time I saw that was about 10 years ago in Denver. And then now they're saying not just Christians, rabbis can't have meetings at their houses. I mean, this is a right of assembly, First Amendment. Yeah, tell folks about that.
Oh, God. You know, it was folks with a Bible study right here in San Diego, and somebody from zoning shows up at their front door and says, well, are you having these gatherings? Are you saying amen? Are you reading from the Bible and all that stuff? And they were going to tell them they had to get a conditional use permit or a major use permit, something like that was going to cost tens of thousands of dollars. Well, the defecation hit the rotary oscillator on that one because people found out thanks to WorldNet Daily, and then it made it into the local papers here. And, you know, the county is back down, but I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. You know, the other thing that concerns me greatly is the fact that you look at the numbers of how the Muslim population of the United States is growing. And, you know, now we've got President Barack Hussein Obama saying, well, you know, we really are one of the largest Muslim countries in the world. I mean, my God, have we lost our bearings so badly? I guess for now the answer is yes.
Well, by the way, Steve, I never even got to this. Kurt Nimmo did a story this morning with just the headline from the ABC News article where Obama begins to announce his Muslim roots. Not even saying it was good or bad. We just stated that he denied all these roots that were public and said it was a conspiracy theory, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And then now he's using it saying, yeah, I'm basically a Muslim. We know he went to Muslim schools. His dad was a Muslim. With Odinga, his cousin, they told him in Senate letterhead, go ahead and contest the election and engage in violence. I mean, Obama really is a terrorist in every sense of the word. And I don't think he's really, quote, a Muslim. I think he uses that. He's a chameleon. He really works for offshore banks to take over this country. But all these commenters in the article were telling me that I was making this up when all I was doing was, because I called Kurt this morning and asked him to do a story, and he did, when all we were doing was, I'm looking for the article, was pointing out what he said in speeches. You know, it's like he introduces all this gun control legislation, the most draconian ever. We list the gun bills, and people send me threatening emails saying, you're a liar, there's no gun bills. I mean, can you comment on that?
only that some people are so damn blind because they don't want to see. You know, the facts are the facts, and, you know, regardless of what we think about